Cartoon characters that have been created by the company Walt Disney, they have a birthday. Is this true or false?
False.
False.
You also think it's false. Cartoon characters can't have a birthday, can they? Unfortunately, the correct answer is true. Apparently, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, their birthday is on November 18th. And Donald Duck has his birthday sometime in June. On to our second question. There are many Disney theme parks in the world. How many are there?
Yeah, 6.
6. Okay, that's your number. What is?
Or 7.
Okay, you're just going one higher than Prakriti. Okay. The correct answer is 12. There are a lot of theme parks for us to choose and go around. In 2023, what are we celebrating? Something related to Walt Disney.
It is the 100th anniversary
Yeah, it's the 100th anniversary.
of Walt Disney.
Yes.
You mean the man who created all these amazing cartoon characters? His name is Walt Disney. So are you saying he was born 100 years ago?
So, Disney was founded in October, I think, 1923. And it's celebrating its 100th anniversary this year.
So it is the 100th anniversary of the company formed by Walt Disney.
Oh.
So that's the company that makes all of these incredible movies that we all love to watch.
My favorite Disney movie is Encanto.
Wonderful movie. I loved it. I love all the songs in that movie. What about Prakriti?
Tangled.
Tangled. Oh, incredible songs.
Hi there, you're listening to What's New Today, a kids and family podcast, and this is Sangeeta, your host from India. This is a multi-part series on Disney celebrating its 100-year existence since its inception. So in the first of these 3-part series, we talk about the early years of Walt Disney. We also understand how cartoon illustrations are made, how they used to be made in the times of Walt Disney and how they have changed today. To discuss the early years of Walt Disney, I am joined by...
My name is Prakriti. I'm 9 years old. I am in 3rd grade. I go to Pansanga's SM Shetty International School. I live in Mumbai.
Hi, my name is Aditi. I am 10 years old and I am in 5th standard. And I go to SM Shetty International School and I live in Mumbai.
But do you really think cartoon movies and animated movies are only for children?
No.
No. Even adults watch sometimes.
Yeah, so my mother saw Snow White and the 7 Little Dwarfs with me.
Trivia time about Walt Disney, the characters he created, and what Prakriti and Aditi really liked about Walt Disney.
I like his movies, his characters. I like all the movies that I've watched till now.
So there are 3 things which I really found interesting about him and his life. So the first thing is that he found his artistic ability when his neighbor told him to draw a picture of his parrot. And also one more thing which I really found interesting about him is he failed more than 300 times when trying to create his company. The other thing which I like, people told him that you lack creativity, but still he did not give up and he had self-confidence in him.
First ever cartoon character that Walt Disney created. Do you know what that is?
Mickey Mouse?
No, it's very close, but it is not Mickey Mouse. He made something before he created Mickey Mouse.
Donald Duck. No.
No, Donald Duck came after Mickey Mouse. It's a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. The first movie with Mickey Mouse, which was called Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen Steamboat Willie?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
all grey and it's the first movie he has created with sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silent movies only.
Yeah, it was very funny. Like Mickey Mouse was playing a hippo's teeth. He was like playing it like a piano.
And he was doing a lot of funny antics with it.
Yeah.
Now, if each one of us wanted to create an animated cartoon like that of Mickey in the Steamboat Willie, you know what? It's possible. It's just like making a flip book.
Have you all seen what a flip book is?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a book. It has many pictures. And if we move very fast, it keeps going like it's real.
In the next section, to talk about how these cartoons are made, how they are drawn, and how they are animated, we are joined by somebody who does illustrations for a living. We're also joined by two children to discuss the same, one of them being Prakriti, and the other is.
My name is Jveet. I'm from 3rd standard and my hobby is to play football and see cartoons. I am 9 years old and I am from Children's Academy. I live in Mumbai.
And the professional illustrator joining us in this episode is.
I'm Abhilash. I'm from Bangalore and I work for this company called Headless Hippies. We do something called branding. We do illustrations. You know paperboard drinks?
Yes. I drank.
Paperboard drinks is one of our clients and I do the cartoons for paperboard drinks. I do every day one cartoon for them.
Wow. Disney Studios is celebrating its 100th year this year. And I think we should also mention that Headless Hippies is celebrating its 10th year this year. So it's awesome to have someone like you, Abhilash, to
Thank you.
talk to us about how cartoons are made.
So, in this section, we're going to be talking about how cartoon animation works, right? So, how about we start with a couple of trivia questions to see how much we've observed cartoons?
Okay, question number 1. What was the color of Mickey Mouse's shoes?
Yellow. Black.
It's yellow. Prakriti is right.
Mickey Mouse is a little different, Jweet, from us. He probably lived in a world where there was lesser dirt, so he didn't need black shoes. Did Mickey Mouse wear a pair of gloves or not?
He did. Yes.
Can you guess the color of the gloves he wore?
White. But
White.
there are 3 lines on them. 3 black colored lines on them.
See background lines? Really? Are there lines for the fingers?
They are like
Okay.
just on the design of the gloves.
Even I didn't notice that. Great observation.
So, Abhilash, when somebody wants to think of, say, a mouse that I want to create into a cartoon character, how does an artist like you start thinking about how should this mouse look like? What should the mouse wear?
Thinking in terms of those days, they discuss among themselves what to create. There was already the rabbit, cat, there was already dog too, but there was not a mouse. So yeah, that struck Disney and they decided to create this mouse. And that mouse was Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse had a girlfriend. Who's that? Minnie Mouse. And Steamboat Willie was the first.
Like it's really funny. Like some of the parts, like they were just silly and everything.
So when Mickey starts playing the music, he like picks the cow and they like rotate the tail of the cow and music starts coming out of it.
Yeah, that part was
Yeah.
Jweet, have you seen any Mickey Mouse cartoons?
Yes, when I was small, my favorite cartoon was Mickey Mouse. Now I don't see, but I saw one episode. There was one fat person who put his leg into the river, and the fishes were not coming to the lake. They jumped on his tummy. Then Mickey bought one a sword-like thing. It doesn't hurt. They showed that the legs were underwater. So how they show the underwater scene?
Animation is a very good combination of art and science. When 1 second is divided into 24 parts. So when you see a picture with one hand like this, and within that 1/24th of a second, when you see this hand moving little away, what happens is it creates an illusion of movement. So that's how animation are made. So in each and every second, there are about 24 drawings. So these 24 drawings are played every second to see something move on the screen. So in animation, what happens is there is a story. They also, on the other hand, parallelly, they also create the music. They also create the dialogues. Okay, so artists are called, musicians are called, voice artists are called, who give voices to the characters, and musicians are called who create the music. So once all this is set, what they do is they start animating.
Drawing happens after the entire story is recorded by the voice artist with the music.
Yes.
All that is done,
Yes.
only then you start, is it?
Yes, yes. In Disney, that is the process because the music and dialogues fit in a time. You're precisely calculating the time and then you animate for it. First, they do it roughly. They use something called a light box. Every sheet of drawing is placed on this X and they start drawing. So there is light coming from underneath the box. Okay. So when there is light passing through the sheet, what happens is you can see when you place one more sheet on the first drawing, you can see the drawing which is underneath.
Do you use this process for paperboard drawings?
No,
You don't.
no, we don't do so much of animation for paperboard. So right now we do it like everything digitally. In those days, everything was manual.
Oh, so you don't draw with pen and paper at all now?
Very less, very less.
Oh.
I do it digitally.
We usually use software. We don't draw much.
I draw and then I use the software to make the finished drawings.
I think
Because
Prakriti
now
is not
everything-
convinced that anything that is not done on pen and paper is drawing. Only if you do it on pen and paper, I think Prakriti thinks it's drawing, right?
Yeah,
So I taken anything like when I was in second grade, our teacher used to give us a app called Tux Paint and we used to draw on that. Still in our school, in third standard, we use Tux Paint.
Tux Paint, the app.
Have you heard of crayons, color pencils that you have to hold in your hand? And
Yeah. Sometimes because I usually use the picture which is already in the Tux Paint. I usually go on different apps on YouTube and then I see that we have to do this step first and we have to do that. What is the latest character you drew?
Latest character I drew is for Paperboat, who is celebrating his birthday.
Like from all the characters you've drawn till now, do you like any character from it?
But one character that surely stuck me was there was this vegetable vendor who is like weighing the vegetables with weights and little bit of stones that he picks from around, and he puts the stone also to weigh the vegetables. And he has a very funny little expression with an old man, and two kids are looking at this two stones that is kept on the weighing scale.
have you all ever gone out and bought vegetables? Have you seen a weighing scale?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you noticed if that vegetable vendor is adding stones ever?
Yeah. Actually, I have noticed because when I go to my grandma's house, she also weighs it.
Not bad. You see YouTube tutorials for digital art and you notice the stones in a vegetable vendor's weighing machine. Good. Now, what other question do we have for Abhilash Ante?
When they create a picture, how it looks like real.
Artists, they study from models. For example, Snow White, they use real people. They invite them to the studio. They give the script. They ask them to perform as per the script. And animators, they look at these people, how they are acting. They look at their expressions. They use that as a reference. Even animals, like they used to get animals into the Disney studio, like the deer, they feed them. So when the deer is happily feeding on the grass, and you see so many animators sitting around with huge tables and papers, and they draw. They look at the deer and draw. That's how the drawings appear real. Right?
And when they call the men, real men, they give costumes also.
Yes, they give costumes.
So I've seen a video like this. They called a few men in. Then there was a specific person who was like telling them to sing. So then when I saw it animated, it was like a penguin told a few cats to sing.
So in animation, what happens is they use the human voices even for the animals. So Mickey Mouse is a mouse, but the Mickey Mouse speaks like a human, right? Mickey Mouse sings like a human. He speaks like a human. He moves around like a human. So what they do is they ask people to perform like that, and they use that as a reference for drawing Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, I know whose voice was used for Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
It was Walt Disney's voice only.
yeah. Walt Disney himself gave voice for Mickey Mouse for a long time.
Yeah.
Abhilash, do you have any questions for them?
Do you like drawing on the apps or do you like drawing on the paper?
Sometimes I draw in apps, sometimes I draw on paper. I don't know how to sort out, but I like them both. For me, quick is drawing with hand.
What about Jeet?
I like drawing on paper more.
Really? Then you should stick to drawing with hands. I think you'll enjoy more like drawing with hands, coloring with crayons, painting with brush.
On that note, we move to the next interesting part of this episode.
Quiz time!
Quiz time.
I'll reverse the tables. Any one of you can ask a question and I'll try to answer that.
How many pictures are shown in the animated cartoon in 1 second?
24. Am I right?
Yes, correct answer.
Yeah.
Which animated film was Walt Disney's full-length film?
I assume you meant the first full-length animated film, and the answer is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
What was the device used to draw? Like to see the drawings underneath?
Oh, you said something about a light circular thing where there is a light box, a light coming.
Yes, light box.
Light box is right?
Color light box, yeah.
Thank you, Abhilash. We've learnt a lot today about how cartoon animation works and even how cartoon illustration's done. Jeet and Prakriti, how did you enjoy this discussion?
And I am very glad that I talked with an artist.
Oh, great.
After all this discussing, I feel like I want to be an artist when I grow up.
Oh, really?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Abhilash. I think you've inspired a lot of people today to hopefully take up art either professionally or, continue working on it as a hobby. I hope all of you enjoyed listening to this episode. In part 2, which will come out on Friday, we talk about how some of the famous Disney characters we're all familiar with, whether it is Snow White or Moana, how these characters came into existence, how the story of movies like Frozen, came about, and how these have been made into movies. And the part 3, we will be joined by an animator from Disney Studios in California who will discuss and tell us more about how they actually make these movies. That's it from us today. If you loved listening to this episode, please do leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're really hoping that a lot more of our listeners will leave us ratings that will help other listeners discover this podcast channel. And like we always do, we leave you with one recommended episode to listen to. This is a recommendation made by Aditi.
I like the episode where you talked about brains being grown in those petri dishes and then they are trained to play ping pong.
What a beautiful and an incredible idea, right? If any of you is intrigued and would like to listen to this episode, you can find link to this in the show notes below. And thanks for listening.